There is no shortage of dating apps to use when trying to find a significant other. Some can seem impersonal or shallow or overcomplicated, like you're the Karate Kid trying to understand the connection between method and result.
Wax on, right hand, wax off, left hand.
While plenty of people have felt that disconnect and wish there was just a better way, two people in particular have been building a solution.
I'm Jessica Alderson. I'm the CEO and co-founder of SoSynced, which is a dating app that matches compatible Myers-Briggs personality types, and I'm an INFP personality type.
And I'm Luella Alderson, COO and co-founder of SoSynced, and I'm an ESFJ personality type.
Luella and Jessica have a suspicion that it's not just photos or rigorous screening that can help you find a suitable partner in the digital age. There's gotta be a secret ingredient.
It just seemed a bit crazy when technology is so advanced in so many ways, and then people were matching based on a couple of photos. It just seemed really odd.
Yeah, and everyone was just getting swiping fatigue.
And this is the story of how they created a better solution. So first question, what does SoSynced do?
SoSynced is a dating app that matches compatible personality types. So you sign up, you put in, I guess, the more standard things as you would a normal dating app, but the one big difference is you take our personality test, and then we let you know your personality type, which would be 4 letters, say ESFP, INTJ, and then we match you with people who you truly connect with. And the idea is to match partners who have just the right amount of similarities to form a strong connection and understand each other, and just the right amount of differences to create a spark.
What compelled you to start SoSynced?
It all started, I guess, with a breakup. So I spent some time working in London, and then ended up moving to Australia with my partner at the time. But actually, I guess after around a year, we ended up breaking up, and I left my job at the same time. So then I decided to basically take a year out, travel, kind of backpack around the world, explore, learn about things. And because I had the breakup, I started looking into, I guess, personality type compatibility. I wanted to understand why it didn't work out. And then just became more and more fascinated with it, and saw really strong correlations that certain personality type combinations were much better suited than others. And then, I got back to London and we were having drinks.
Yeah, and then you said, I know a better way to do this. But to be honest, I didn't really know much about the Myers-Briggs theory at the time. And then we started applying it to everyone, really. Yeah, and well, it just made so much sense. Like, we started looking at friends, couples. I was in a long-term relationship with my perfect personality match that I had no idea about. But so then I was on board.
The SoSynced dating app matches people based on their Myers-Briggs personality type, a system which was based on psychoanalyst Carl Jung's theory of psychological type. The creators of the Myers-Briggs test wanted to share Jung's knowledge with the world in hopes that it would help people understand and connect with each other better. So what types of funding has SoSynced received?
So at first, we worked full-time for a year, really, used, some of our salary to fund it, and also our savings. And then, in March this year, we closed a funding round of over $1 million, which was really exciting. And that's enabled us to do a lot more, as you can probably imagine. So a bit of a mixture of bootstrapping and then actually raising a funding round. And I think we raised the funding round at really just the perfect time. I think it is actually really helpful to bootstrap a startup in those early days, because you're kind of pushed to think outside of the box, and it forces you to be a lot more creative. And there were lots of things we did that we know that we achieved much better metrics than say a standard dating app, just because we had to. There was no other way. We had to come up with these more creative ways, I guess, of acquiring users and things like that.
How do you connect with and foster a sense of community around SoSynced?
So the community is definitely a really big thing for us. I mean, in general, the Myers-Briggs community online is really big, really engaged. Our Instagram following and our Instagram posts, the engagement is really, really high, and lots of comments, and that's so great. Everyone's really supportive and encouraging, and I think also we speak to people on the app ourselves. So we have a profile, we match with people and just chat to them about their experience and things like that. Really.
Yeah, I think the community is such an important part. It is everything, and we do have just like a really kind community. It's probably the thing that I'm most proud of. Sometimes I'm just like, oh, it's just such a great community. And like you said about people supporting each other in the comments, like, we have the notifications pop up on our phone, and I'm like, oh, this person is supporting this person. It's just really nice to see.
With their engaging social media, podcast, and thought-provoking blog posts, the founders of SoSynced are actually creating a supportive, not a competitive, dating community. In their podcast, Personality Love Lab, the founders interview real people and real couples to dive into the dynamics of personality types. With all that accomplished, what has been the most fulfilling moment of your entrepreneurial career so far?
So a couple that met on SoSynced last April, he was from the UK, she was living in France. They actually first met in June in person when the borders opened up. So they've been speaking for about 3 months. We actually spoke to them on our podcast the first weekend they met, which was really nice. They got married in December, and I feel like that was the best moment.
Yeah, that was
fulfilling.
crazy, right? I remember seeing the message and I called you right away, and I was like, oh my God. And they're just such a lovely couple as well. And you could tell from the podcast, right? They were just meant to be. And yeah, I mean, it's quite special that you don't get that kind of thing with many jobs, right?
Almost 1 out of 6 marriages these days actually begin online. And that number is only expected to grow because of the sheer volume of people signed up on dating sites. In the short time that SoSynced has launched, they already have 1 married couple under their belt. What advice would you give your younger selves before becoming entrepreneurs?
I think the advice I would give myself is to expect it to be pretty tough. I think we were so naive when we started. We were just like, right, we're going to launch an app. It's all going to be really nice and easy. You're going to get lots of users. And, there have been, I guess, a lot more challenges than we ever expected. And I think that's not necessarily a bad thing as such. That's why I guess not everyone does it very easily, and that is also what makes it fun. But I think I would just kind of let myself know, there's going to be lots of ups and downs, and really big ups and downs as well.
Do you have any helpful tips for aspiring entrepreneurs?
I would say if you can do it with someone else, then you should. It's been amazing having Jessica to do it with and, be in this roller coaster together. That definitely helps. So if there is an option to work with someone that you trust a lot and you are close with and you have different strengths and weaknesses, then I would say that would be a good option.